built that friendship slowly, and then I was in college now, and you want to continue on?
I was a senior in high school, and he was in college his freshman year, and I was just like, starting to really take it serious, and I'm like, yo, have you ever shot a music video? Like, let's shoot a music video. And the very first one that we don't really like to speak about because it's so terrible, like we shot it on a racquetball court as like our psych wall, basically.
Yeah, our white psych wall.
Yeah, I was like, yo, we can go to LA Fitness. I got the membership. Let's do it.
That's smart.
Yeah.
So yeah, we shot on a white psych racquetball, and quickly upgraded cameras to the T2i.
Hold on, I remember though. Editing that video in my editing like setup was in my parents' game room at the time. I don't know if you remember that. And I was editing the video, and we both we thought the video was so cold. Like I had all these like overlay blending effects on the white psych and everything. And
do we want to like let them know like
y'all don't need to know?
Like, keep it in the archives.
Nah, I mean, if you really want to have a good laugh at Jacob Owen's first music video
and yours
and mine, Mr. I Had to Do It.
Yeah, no, it's a good classic. But then quickly shifted after that.
Yeah, we quickly shifted. You got the T2i.
Yeah.
Well, you used the homies, and then you bought one after that. But that's kind of when things got real.
And that was the first. That was like on Mill Ave here in Tempe.
Yep. Who Dat?
And you remixed J. Cole's Who Dat, and then that like was the
started
catalyst for everything. Because all of a sudden local people started like, I don't think anyone had really seen like a crispy, well done music video, but with like fire bars from someone who was like, it was just like I mean, I say that now, like back then it looked incredible and it sounded amazing. Like now I don't know if you go back, it's like, yo, this is cheesy on all levels or what, but that was like the catalyst, and I started getting hit up a lot. I'm sure you were like, yo, I'm going full in on this now. I
think it's worth mentioning too that like this is like I feel like, what would you say is like 2010 or so?
Yeah, it's 2010.
Like I feel like YouTube prior was like, really corny viral videos, like, and I feel like this is like the first time around 2010 that you're seeing like music videos.
Yeah,
and
it was
like,
the Mac Miller era. It was the walk around with your backpack at school and drop bars. You know,
100%.
So we kind of rode that lane
right into that.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we physically did that at ASU. You had a backpack on, walked around ASU and filmed another music video. But that was the start of, we just started shooting music video, and uploading them to YouTube.
Yeah.
And that was like the start of our kind of working relationship there and everything from there.
That's crazy.
Do you have like a favorite early video that we did? If you were to recall? We've done so many, so it might even be hard to like.
We've probably shot like 500 videos.
Yeah, we've shot so much. Just from everything.
We were talking about the one day where we did like 3 videos in one day.
We did
with like Lexi Pantera.
Yeah.
Then we went to like that upstairs abandoned house. It's like crazy to think about,
Yeah, and we always kind of moved like that. Like honestly, working with Jake makes it hard to work with some other people because like I'm so impatient and so quick, and me and him just like from the jump always had this quick work ethic, you know. So
I think you both also have an idea of the final output. So like some people I've even worked with will do like 5 or 6 takes
of one thing, and we don't need to.
And like our like mindset's like, oh, we got it. Like we don't need to do it 5 more times. Well,
speaking of the one take thing, I mean, when we were living in LA, I want to come back to touch on something that that I just thought of. But speaking on the not doing multiple takes, one of the things you were known for was going into the booth, spitting a whole verse in one take, and you did that for this one song, which was the one in the LA River. No way. And then we were just like, yo, let's shoot a video for this. And it's like, well, let's shoot it like how you recorded it in one take.
Yeah.
And then we shot it on the Ronin. You were there that day. You helped shoot that.
We had just gotten like
the Ronin one.
That was the first video you probably did.
I think Tom was probably on. Probably the first one.
Honestly, that thing might have been the first one with him. I don't know, but
yeah.
That was actually.
Yeah. But anyways, we shot that, did it in one take, and labeled it on YouTube like #one take, and that started a whole new wave of not only our stuff but for other people too. I know there's plenty of artists that just started to do #one takes, whether it was on the mic or like filming a video.
Let me ask you this: did that song for you? Because I don't really know like the back end. Did that one like blow up? Because funny enough, Jordan.
Which one?
No way. Because funny enough, Jordan was like, wait, I know that song. Like when I first week I went to your wedding, she was like, oh wait, I've legit heard that. I was like, oh, like I wonder, like did that one pop off for you a little bit?
Yeah, No Way was like, this is how crazy it was. Like I wasn't hip to all, because we were so my presence was so on YouTube. I didn't really know about like Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff. Like I kind of did, but I didn't know how big the translation was. So like when we dropped No Way, it was Jake's a very spur of the moment person. Like, so he was just like, let's just shoot it. And so we shot it, put it out. I didn't even have the song uploaded. So it wasn't on iTunes or anything.
That's crazy.
The reason why that song blew up so quickly too was because I did a prank with Big Dawes TV, which most people don't know about. Most people think the first prank I did with him was the nerd rap, but I actually did one called Awkwardly Staring at Strangers with Big Dawes before that, which had nothing to do with No Way, but they dropped around the same time, so he linked No Way to that. And that's what first got that
makes sense.
Even more traction.
Wow. Dang, I want to come back to that because that's like the start of a whole nother thing. But even before that, before we just got into that story, the like what you were talking about, the same work ethic, right?
Yeah.
So like essentially what we had started was a partnership, right? It was just like I would shoot your music videos, and we kind of built this little partnership, and we're just moving along. And so we've talked about it in the past about like to find the right partner to like grow in both, whatever you're doing, like you have to find someone that has that same drive and work ethic as you. Like that's probably the key component.
Passion,
I would say, is to any partnership. Because if your drives don't align and like one's working way harder and doing all this stuff, the other's not, and
resentment kicks in. It's like when you have a school project. It's like when you have a school project and like you got 4 people in your group and you're doing all the work, but everybody gets the A. Like you're like, yo, I don't rock with none of y'all. Y'all are trash, But, and then too, like to be successful, I had 2 pivotal partners. I had you and I had Action. And it was like what was so pivotal about these was everybody had the same work ethic. Everybody offered different stuff. And then nobody was worried about the money at the time. Like Action made all my beats and did all my marketing, and all my cover art and stuff like that. And he got 50% of the sales of the music stuff. Jake shot my videos for free and then obviously collected on the YouTube. So I was like, I'm getting free videos, I'm getting free beats, I'm recording for free, I'm getting cover art for free. But at the end of the day, I'm also doing all the work to make sure that this stuff succeeds. Like I'm making sure I'm getting on blogs and I'm doing all these shows and all these cyphers and contests and all this stuff. And it's like, every time I do a contest, now Jake has a bunch of new people that want to book him. Action has a bunch of people that want to use his beats.
It was just like a rising tide lifts all boats. We all
just were mobbing together, and like it just bounced back and forth. And then as Jake would get new clients like Kyle and DY and all these people, and well, now those are people that now I can get on my songs because they want to work with Jake. So it just like,
which led to no budget.
Yeah, so we're just feeding back and forth off of each other, all to say the work ethic is what got us there. And like I said earlier, it made it hard, I'm sure, well, for me, it made it hard to work with other videographers, and for him, I'm sure, like, you're never going to shoot an easier music video than for me.
Facts.
Period.
Yeah, that's a big fact. So I mean, just like the symbiotic relationship between all parties and having like that same work ethic and desire to get to a bigger place and always wanting to grow is like what essentially we are a team. Yeah, the sacrifice
of like, yo, I'm not charging you $250 for these music videos because what we're building together is so much more valuable.
Right. And I always looked at it early on. I've told people this, like every video I was doing, I was looking at it as a way to build my reel and my body of work. Like with Kyle, like he was one of the first early artists I started working with. It was Samson, Sam King, Kyle, and like none of them I charged really any money for.
Very low.
If anything, Kyle, nothing. Samson, maybe $100, $200. Sam King was the only one that I charged, but it's like I didn't know him personally. And like he was one of the first artists that reached out to me after seeing my work on YouTube. And I think I only charged him like $400. And I like flew to Vegas, did crazy ass videos for 2-3 days. And like, so it's like I was always looking at the bigger picture. And I think, that's what played. It just helped me so much grow. But going back to, it's like you have to find, essentially we were a team. We were still doing our individual thing and trying to grow in our individual space, but we were essentially a team without being a team. We understood, those roles are like, yo, if you win, I win. If I win, you win. And so it just, it grew to something crazy, which now we could probably lead into that whole No Way thing we were talking about with the Big Dawes thing and that first explosion of, we started to get, we were at there was a point where we dropped a video and expected like 1 million views. Easy. Yeah. It was like, oh, we dropped this, it's $1 million.
Yeah.
And now you're like,
I just feel like your guys' finger was like very much on the pulse of like, and like maybe that's a question I have for y'all, because I was like definitely on the outer rim shooting with y'all, but I wasn't like in the mix. Like, how did you guys know, or like what was your thought process on like, okay, yeah, this is gonna break the internet? I mean, like, how did you structure concepts like that?
I think Zach would have a better.
Yeah, that was more. I just started seeing people go viral, and I didn't see any like music people going viral. It was always pranks. It was always skits. It was always things of that nature. And I'm like, and then I saw somebody go viral, which was High Res. He did a McDonald's rap, and it went viral, but like, you know, no shots at him because he's doing great things, but he didn't tie it to anything. He didn't tie it to a song, an actual song. So he didn't really like get the most out of it. So I wanted to make sure when I had my moment, it was tied to something. So with that being said, I saw Dawes do a nerd rap, and he's obviously not a rapper. And I'm like, fam, let me do a nerd rap on your channel. It's going to go crazy.
Right.
And that was just kind of how the whole thing started. As far as having the hand on the viral pulse, and from that point on, we expected everything to get $1 million in a week.
Yeah, just because the buzz was so high with you, with the channel, with everything we were doing, and just the cross promotion of all the ideas and stuff. And I think going to that nerd raps thing, like I'll say the one thing Zach has always done really well. He always has and has had good ideas for his videos, and it's more of like bringing, sometimes I think we would collab on ideas and things, but for the most part I feel like it was you bringing an idea to me and then tweaking it and then bringing it to life. And a lot of times, like, there's some artists that don't know what they want. They have the directors drop a treatment, they do something, but there are certain artists that have a complete vision and they know how they want it to look and be. And I feel like you always came to me and was just like, yo, let's do a video where we do this, this, and this. And I'm like, cool, that's great, but let's change this a little bit. But it was always coming from your, your brain and mind. But I think a funny story where that kind of switched and that plays is the whole greatest video idea and song. Because that was like the next Nerd Raps thing. You did the Nerd Raps in Compton, and we're going to shoot the greatest, which is the greatest
music video.
The song is what you did in that prank video with Dawes.
Yeah.
And you wanted to do the music video very differently than how it ended up being.
Yeah. So, I mean, I knew that the song was going to be big no matter what because of the prank with Dawes. Dawes wanted to put out the prank, and I'm like, hold off. We cannot put out this prank until my song that the prank actually drops and is on iTunes.
Yeah.
With that being said, I knew I had to shoot a music video to the song, so I wanted the music video to be crazy dope. Long story short, I invited a bunch of people to do this big dope video at my old high school, and people aren't showing up, things aren't happening. So this elaborate scheme we had for this video couldn't work.
Apart. That morning too.
That morning it was like everybody was in, like 50 people are supposed to come, and then maybe 10, 15 ended up showing up. So we had to call an audible right there, and basically, we're like, me and Jake are just brainstorming like, man, what can we do? How can we do this? And it's like, well, what if we just make the music video look just like the prank
video? Yeah.
So I had Cody go to his house and get a wolf tee.
Yeah.
I stole glasses off one of the people that was already there. I had Dawes pull up, and we just literally redid the Nerd Rap video.
But in a more like cinematic way as the music video. And it's funny, there are comments being like, this is staged, people not understanding like, hey, this was us like paying, homage to the prank. Yeah, to the prank.
Yeah.
So we shot, that was a complete, like, you wanted to do something, it didn't work, on the fly, it's like, yo, let's do this, pivot. And
which we've always been great at. There's been many a times where that's happened.
Yeah, 100%. But like, I don't think, and that was the one that just took over everything. And I don't think we expected it to be as big as it did. I mean, I think even to this day, it's like 28 million views on YouTube or something like that.
It might be
something crazy.
Over 30 now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
I feel like, because we were just talking about it, like YouTube, I feel like just isn't like hitting the same way. Like, we'll do an overproduced, amazing piece of like educational content.
Yeah.
And just like, I mean, it's insane, like how different the whole ecosystem is now. So,
yeah. I mean, and everything too is just, I think we got in at a great time.
Yeah.
I think everything is way more saturated right now. There's way more people trying to do it. Like, I mean, it's just different. It's definitely different, and the algorithms are definitely different as well. So yeah, it's not the same as it used to be, for sure. All social media is not the same as it used to be.
I think used to be like the place that you would go, and now there's several different apps from Spotify to, to TikTok, all this stuff. So like people's viewership is probably being split several ways.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
So if now at what point The Greatest comes out and it blows up and you start like record labels, like you started getting offers or not quite yet, like
so even to backtrack a little bit, like me and you had already built a little bit of steam because we had already done one takes. We already did No Way, we did I Be That, we did Feel Good. So we already had a little bit of traction before The Greatest, and that had already had me having some label meetings, some conversations, nothing too serious, but like I was meeting with like Double XL. I was on every big blog before that. I guess I'll Smoke is what really got me in all of that, which we haven't talked about, but I guess I'll Smoke was my first record to really like get major coverage across all platforms, and get me to talk to record labels. When The Greatest came out, it was wild because like I already had my whole year kind of planned out on what I wanted to do for the most part, but it all had to switch when that happened. So took meetings with every single label. Ultimately didn't end up signing because like when that first check came in, to be fully transparent, I moved to LA with 20 grand in my pocket living with Jake. Living there, obviously I spent bread. Even as I'm making bread, I think my bank account was down to like 4 or 5 grand when The Greatest came out.
That's crazy.
And that song dropped and my first check off of it was like $33,000.
Off like YouTube or
off of the actual song. I wasn't even the YouTube was on his, that was his. So just off the single, that's just one song.
Damn.
Then people started buying all my other stuff and my next check was like 50 bands.
Jeez.
So then I'm going into these labels and
that just goes to show though how quickly like your life can change in a moment.
Second.
If you just consistently work hard and you put in the work and put in the effort, all it takes is one moment to where the switch flips and now you're like just you're either famous or successful or making all this money or your business grow. Like it's because that's night and day. Like in a matter of
facts, in a matter of seconds. But that's your typical overnight celebrity.
Right.
But why I was able to make that much money off Jump is because I had
catalog.
I had 3-4 albums already out. I had singles that was doing well. So like when The Greatest popped off, like if you went to iTunes, I was 5 of the top 10 slots on iTunes from, it was No Way, I Guess I'll Smoke, The Greatest, my album, like everything was up there. So that's why that check was way more. And then so all I'm doing now is just trying to capitalize on the momentum. So after The Greatest happens, I'm like, let's do it again. So I did another nerd rap in a college this time, which is the song Too Easy. Boom. That one
did
went
big
crazy.
Too.
I purposely held that to drop it the day after my album dropped so that when people saw that nerd rap, they go buy the album. Album goes number 1. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like,
these are strategic business moves. Like who taught you that? You know what I mean? Like no one, or you
honestly,
just felt it.
The only person I could contribute my business stuff to, which is my dad. And he's not like the illest businessman ever. He's not rich by any means, but like he always just taught me like having a plan, and like I always was with him. Like he ran a DJ business. He rented out his equipment. That was one revenue stream. He had other DJs that worked under him. That was a revenue stream. He always taught me something you posted the other day. He taught me never buy anything until you have double what it is.
Right.
Like he just always, and he's just a tightwad. So I think that like just the business and like the money aspect always came from him. But for me, I just knew that like capitalizing on the moment. I've been selling CDs since first grade. So like it was just a natural thing of like, I know I'm selling the most CDs after I perform. So this is no different. I know that I'm selling the most albums after I go viral. So let's hold this one off. It's going to do what the last one did. Boom. And then let's just ride the wave.
Let me ask you this, because like that's something that Jake and I have talked about, where we are definitely having our moment coming up as filmmakers, and there is kind of this fear in the back of your head that this could end at any time. And I don't know if it's like touching on imposter syndrome or some sort of thing in your head where like, you know what, like this almost seems too good to be true. Is there anything you're doing during this like rise or come up that you're like maybe planting seeds? Because some people don't think to do that, and when that thing dries out, they're completely just like
left, stranded.
I always liked helping other artists. I always liked doing things. So even before I like blew up, I was like hosting local showcases. I was like booking artists to come out and perform. Like I always had my hands in a lot of stuff. So I I was never worried that necessarily I'd be done with, but in the moment, all you can do is focus on your thing. I think that when you have the momentum, you have to just go. Fuck everything else. Like, for real. Like, planting seeds is dope, obviously, but when you have that moment, it's like anything. If you can give your 100% to something, give your 100%. So in that moment that I finally had got there, I've been working my entire life to get this moment. All I'm thinking about is how to make more music, how to duplicate the greatest again and again and again and again and again and again. And then now the checks are $144,000. The checks are crazy in a month. So I'm just like, okay, well, I need more of that. And it was for a longer play, but I knew that it was a moment in time that you was never going to get back. So it was capturing that moment.
How much of that, like when those bigger checks were coming in, did you hold on to it and not touch it, or like reinvest? Like, were you one that we're just like, you know what, I'm not touching this. Like, it's just straight savings. And I'm just like, I know, because you didn't like to spend the most money on videos. Let's be real. Like,
the reason...
that's a good point. Bring it up.
The reason why I never like to spend money on videos is if you look at all the videos me and Jacob went all out on, spent $5,000 on, $4,000, whatever, compared to me walking down the street. Me walking down the street, all those videos have millions of views, and all the videos that we spend a lot of money on don't have shit.
Right.
So like, my fans naturally just liked to see me in my closet walking down the street,
for sure,
doing stuff literally with no budget.
Yeah. I think that is a good point of like knowing what your audience, fan base, and what works for you, and not trying to be someone else that you're not. If you were to try and be like, you know, I'm trying to think of who a big rap artist at the time would be, like, and try and spend 15, 20 racks on a video to look all cool and have these saucy
Doesn't work.
It probably wouldn't have worked for you. But the more natural, organic, like man on the rapper on the street just seemed to work for you and always crushed. And so I think it's understanding,
just
like,
knowing your demographic,
your audience, your following, and just being smart. Be like, hey, this doesn't seem to work, and I do this. I'm not going to keep pushing this issue. It's a smarter business decision to just spend less money and do this.
Yeah, and as far as like the investing, like I'm not like a super flashy person. I don't need a lot of things. So like, I wasn't out blowing money. I think the first big thing I ever bought was my van, which was $33,000.
The Sprinter van.
And I bought that because I knew I toured a lot. And then as far as any other money, like, I didn't spend money on anything.
Right.
Like, I just stacked up and just kept doing my thing. Like, the only thing I ever spent money on was music. Period. I didn't spend money on anything else. I lived